Good morning, justice seekers, justice warriors. It is Saturday, November 26th. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Yes, I'm up early. One of my kids took me on a 20-mile bike ride yesterday, so I crashed early and got up early, and I'm not even that sore. Wow. Um, I wanted to add a few things to the lists that I've been building of the similarities in the two cases with Ms. Trinity Backus and Ms. Kiely Rodni. And let me just say that everything that I say is simply my opinion. It is all in the interest of opening up a discussion, hopefully educational, possibly entertaining. But this is real serious subject matter, and I also want to be real clear that despite the fact that I've now gotten about 70 itemized factors on my list of similar or matching or duplicate parallels between the two cases, I am absolutely not determining that these two cases are indeed related. I'm simply asking the question, could they? Could they be related? Um, so there are a few basic housekeeping issues I want to cover. One of them is to look at the thumbnail from yesterday. I used that thumbnail primarily because of the photograph of Jagger. I changed it a couple of times, but the sunroof that he has in that, it's a screenshot of a video that he made, and it's a terrible video. I mean, it's like looking up his nose. Thank God there was nothing in there, the bats in the cave. Um, but the bottom of his ball cap is also potentially of interest. There's like a red splotch at one side and some black, it looks like grease marks. But now, at this point in the investigation, if you can call it an investigation, that sunroof being open it just draws my attention, as does the fact that we still don't know much about Kylie's alleged trip to Mexico the week before she went missing with Mags Larson and Mags's mother, Anna. We also don't know a lot about Jagger's trip to Mexico. If that was like the same time frame, did they hook up down there? I don't know. But I've thought of some nicknames that I'd like to start using. One is Jägermaestro, so you might know who that is. Another one is the Hamburglar, when speaking of a family that the Jägermaestro family has connections to. And then with law enforcement, I just kind of want to refer to all of them as Yosemite Sam because they just seem like a bunch of jokes to me. And I don't like saying that. I'm really concerned about the state of law enforcement in this country, and I don't want to criticize. I don't want to be the armchair quarterback, but I do want to demand a high standard with law enforcement. I think that we are all entitled to make that demand, and that as Americans in a democracy, that it's our responsibility. That's the way a democracy works. It's on the citizens. So let's see. I've got a few more items to add to the 60. Here we go, 61. Um, both of these young ladies were in very dangerous, precarious situations with the full knowledge and consent of their mothers. So we know that there were substances at these parties, shall we say, these gatherings, and that there were older men. Both of these young women were so emotional when they vanished, and that just drives me nuts. Like, that's the free, like, get out of jail ticket that, oh, they were just out of control, crazy teenage girls, so therefore they ended up dead. I mean, seriously? That's really what they're going with, in my humble opinion. Um, both of these social circles had the whole fight club thing, so I guess maybe that's just big in the area. I'm not sure. I'm not into that. I mean, and I did kickboxing for a while, a couple of years ago, right up until COVID, and I loved it. But it wasn't about fighting people. It's actually just about having fun and exercising and, more like psychologically keeping yourself safe, basically. So in both cases, the a couple of the what, what I would call primary persons of interests claim that they made telephone calls and or texts to the victims, despite the fact that they were in the company of the victims. So in Trinity's case, obviously that's the fake Auntie Ashley, and in Kiely's case, that's the fake friend Sammy. So this is a really interesting one. There's a fellow named Joseph Horvath who allegedly owns the home that Ashley is residing in. And he also shares a post office box with Jägermeistro's mother and one of Sammy Smith's relatives. So, Joseph Horvath. That post office box is used for a few water businesses, I think, which is, as you know, extremely important. The water is a huge issue with growth facilities. And when you have a growth operation, you've got a potential for big money if you can pull it off. Um, let's see. What do I got here? So Trinity's ex-stepdad is a cop for what I perceive as a corrupt department, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. And, you know, corrupt law enforcement is criminal activity. So we've got her ex-stepdad potentially involved in criminal activity. And then we've got Kiely's stepdad was a career criminal. I don't think he is anymore. I think his grow operation is actually legit. Um, but having a felony on his record, I don't think he can be the stated owner of the business. Both of these girls, both of these young women had jobs in the food service industry. Both families seem to have been having financial struggles. Um, so both of their stepdads would need a lot of water for their grow operations. It seems that Trinity's stepdad may have had a not legitimate business with a grow operation. So, looking at one water source is Lindsay's father, Daniel. No, that's the ex-husband, David Robertson. He has a history of owning water rights, and then there's that post office box that has uh, Jägermeister's Jägermeistro's mother, Sammy Smith's relative, and Joseph Horvath. That post office box has water companies connected to it. So, how come we've never heard from the stepdads in both of these situations? You would think that the one involved in law enforcement might speak out on behalf of his estranged ex-wife's daughter, his estranged ex-stepdaughter. Um, and then, we have heard a couple of words from Tony, but literally just a couple. I mean, he's been very silent, and at first I didn't think that that was a very big deal, but at this point, it's been many months, and we've still only heard a couple of words ever come out of his mouth. I think that's odd. So, both of these young women came from broken homes, and um, they both ended up ultimately being found in the great outdoors, deceased. It's just so tragic. I think those are all of the issues that I wanted to cover right now. I do have a few others that I'm working on, um, but basically, I just wanted to make a quick video here. And, my mind is just kind of constantly looking at these parallels, these similarities, these duplications. I mean, I don't know what you want to call them. I call them coincidences, but when you have a stack of 70 coincidences, that's pretty bizarre, right? Anyway, make of it what you will. I do want to say that for all of us on social media that are subscribers, viewers, or content creators, we are all armchair detectives of sorts. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that law enforcement is very afraid of that, especially if they have anything to hide. Um, I think that the social media, YouTube, true crime community can be seen as helpful. Sometimes it seems that law enforcement wants to write off that true crime community as just fake news. And I am of the belief that when law enforcement is screaming fake news, that's when you really need to pay attention to what's going on and why are they saying that. So, on that, I'm going to say peace out. Have a great weekend. Make sure you get a lot of hydration, a lot of healthy nourishment, a lot of fresh air and sunshine if you can. Get your exercise, whether that's stretching, going on a walk, getting a good swim in, doing some kickboxing, um, yoga, whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever's easy for you to do. Follow your heart. Do what makes you happy and make sure you're getting your rest. That's literally the most important thing. Make sure you're getting your rest. So, on that, I'm going to say have a great Saturday and hopefully I'll see you again before Monday morning. Thanks.